welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Rooster and the Villain. I'm very happy to have my friend from 2 years ago, Abe Navarro, on the podcast. Abe, would you mind introducing yourself a little bit?
Yes, sir. My name is Abe Navarro. Pretty simple life. I just play soccer and bring people together through pickup footy. It's a great community I've been a part of, and it's just been really fun to be able to bring the DMV together and some pickup. And I was able to meet Mike through I don't even know social media, just trying to find a place to watch the World Cup. And luckily, our paths crossed, and we were able to create a really fun experience. And it's just good to see how it's taken off. And we just run pickup every day, and Mike just does his thing. And now it's just bringing it back to running back the clock. And
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about the pop-up a little bit, because now it's 2 years ago. I had originally had this idea to get a space to run pickup games and a place to watch. Eventually found a spot at SoFi out in Columbia, and luckily, Abe, I guess you just found out through social media I was doing it, and you reached out.
yeah, the Bobcats post. Where it was
That's right.
I was like a pop up. I was like, damn, that's no one's ever taken a risk like that, and it just immediately caught my eye when you said, "Hey, if you're down to do something, let us know." So
You guys got me real hyped up on the idea, because I was so on it. Wasn't sure whether I wanted to do it. I never really done anything like that before. And
yeah,
then once you guys got involved through AN pickups and kind of, brought it to life with a partnership, that kind of hyped me up. And I feel like, honestly, without you, it wouldn't have existed, and it definitely wouldn't have been nearly as fun. Like, I can't tell you how appreciative I am of you and your brothers and the help you gave for that week to go off. Yeah, so thanks again, man.
no, of course, I thank you, man. Without you, you bringing the idea up, and we thrive on initiative, people taking a risk and not afraid to lose. So that's the type of mentality we have, not losing but learning. So I really admire the ability to just say, like, let's just do it. Like, just not think about it and just do it. And we are for the community. And after we met, we chopped it up. We definitely could feel that you have a good desire and a real love for the game, which we always respect, and we always find hard for some people. Then people don't understand it, don't really feel the passion. But to see that you're very interested in it really caught our eye, and just it didn't really take a lot for us to just make that jump. We kind of just knew it was a great platform to use. It was a great location, and we just betted on ourselves and just used our community as big as we can. And luckily, it was really fun.
So yeah, I mean, love of the game is what brings us all together, and love of local soccer is something that I really loved through the Bobcats, through the Annapolis Blues, and then I came to learn all about AN pickups. Which, why don't you talk about for a little bit, and then talk about some of the other, Street FC and all that you have going on.
Yeah. So essentially, what it was is I like to say that we never really invented anything. So like pickup soccer is something that we've all grew up with, pastime, playing with about a couple of friends. So after that, we just it was COVID. I graduated in 2020. My sense of community was really broken apart, and there was just a lot of things mentally that I was going through, family wise. My mom had a stroke, and it was just so like starting college preseason. It was so many things that went into account, and all I really know that during those times of like hard triumphs or anything like that, soccer, footy was my way of escaping. And so after I noticed with pickup, it was just getting a couple people together, having some fun. And then I started to notice like, wow, the local talent we were able to get off of me just posting on my Snapchat story is insane. So then people started feeling that out and they're like, hey, can I bring a friend? Can I bring a friend? And this was during the time that we weren't even renting a field. We were just kind of showing up and the lights were on. And after a while, we would just get kicked off. And then we just kind of noticed that like, wow, we have some athletes. We have some great soccer players, some great people. The competition is high. The vibes are really good. And people kind of just respect the nature, and it's a really good spot. And we decided to take the big jump and rent out a field. And we just betted on ourselves. My brothers and I scrambled up a couple $100 and probably near 1,000 for the first 3 sessions of Moose. And people were just taken away by the facility, the great people at Moose letting us use their facility all the time. And we just felt the vibe, and we kind of created something called Moose Monday. And which started out as like 40, 50 people coming out. Eventually started blowing up because we started an Instagram page and people just finding a way to come play pickup. And we just jumped from 40 to 70 to 80 and then 100 and then 110. And before we knew it, we were getting 160, 170 people waiting at the door, and we couldn't let any more teams in. We were just completely packed out, and it's just.
So you've been doing that. You started that in 2022-ish.
Yeah, like with pickup, it just was all natural. Like it was just 2021. Like after everything was cleared, we were just getting some touches in because that's how I really connected with my brothers. Me being a first generation college student, just trying to get like to college soccer, it was really rough because I didn't have the ability to pay for club teams or play in these high clubs or anything. Mine was get a couple balls, go with your brother, and whatever we learned and the passion that we have, just learn off of each other. And luckily, with the support of them, I was able to get a good scholarship and just play some footy. And it just showed me a whole new world. I was a sponge in that environment, and I just knew that there was something missing within the community, within the footy community, and the way things are going. That I just felt like I could make a difference in my immediate community, and that's really all that drove me to change the narrative on everything.
Yeah, so you're still doing Moose Mondays, but you
Yeah.
also, you have like the Thanksgiving tournament I saw. Looked like you have a couple
Yeah.
other days. Like, but how are you able to? When I played, I played once with you, a couple times up with Street FC. The level of baller is so high. Like, how are you able to reach that community of pickup ballers? And like, I've never seen anyone have such success getting a large group together as you and your brothers have had and getting that community going.
I
How do
appreciate
you
that.
do that?
And I think a big part of that for us is to we value communication and we value like relationships, and we don't just see people as like soccer players. Like it's like you have a dream, you have a passion. It's like we look at the individual person and kind of understand like the environment. Like we thought instead of trying to force somebody to fit our mold, let's kind of just create a vibe. Let's be our authentic selves. Let's show people that we care about what they're where they're playing at, or if they got training tomorrow, asking about their progress, how they're doing on injuries. And I think that my I was just kind of losing it as like I have big brothers, so I was lucky enough to have like a good guidance and a good head over my shoulders telling me, hey, don't do this, you should try this. And I just felt like I wanted to take that big brother role for the community and kind of just give unity and bring people together and just kind of like people respect us. We try to do like we respect people's talents. So we'll be like no slide tackling, no fighting. We have a really short fuse on things like that. And luckily people just I guess respect the idea that we're trying to protect them and keep them safe, but also have a really good time and just make soccer affordable. Because our we try to be as authentic as we can because this really isn't a money grab or anything. This is just a passion project that we've been able to turn into something bigger, and we're extremely blessed to be in a really accepting community. And it's just I can't tell you. Sometimes I'm blown away at the fact that like some of these ballers play. We got a couple ballers that came out last winter. It was the kid Matai from DC, and now he's at Bournemouth. So it's like things like that. Like
That's crazy. Yeah, I was gonna ask you if you had
cool.
any alumni or what are some
Yeah,
notable,
we we,
notable
we
alumni that
we
run?
got some ballers. Shout out my guy Caleb Pritchett from
Yep,
MD
yep,
Bobcats, Manchester.
yep, yep.
And then yeah, we just had like a bunch of ballers, and it was just really cool to just see what they're going through and the type of process they are, the recoveries or the different things I'm planning next season. And it's just I have a natural interest in things like that. Like I love the game, so being able to just really see people grow and just kind of I'm gonna ask, where do you play? What do you do? Like what kind of? And then I just talk to people on their game, just try to give any pointers if I can. I'm just completely absorbed by the game, and I just will pinpoint everything. Like I'll watch tactical breakdowns of a match that I've seen the full game of to see
Yeah.
why that lost, and it's just
Yeah, I
pumping
mean, you're
through.
still a young guy too. Like, I think when we met, maybe you were 21. Is that right? You
Yeah,
23 right now?
I'm 22, so
22. Oh shoot, even younger than that. Yeah, are you still so you still getting out there running? Like, any aspirations in the game for yourself still?
I'm not completely opposed to it. I do train. Like I try to train is pretty often about like at least play pickup soccer with Street FC, which is like for those that don't know, like I'm the city manager for Street FC, and I've been doing that for about like 2 years. And we're just a pickup soccer app based on we do it at Patterson Park. We play some indoor gyms, and it's a pretty like straightforward 5v5 like pickup soccer app. So I try to use that to stay as active as I can. I wish I was able to suit up at Moose, but with the caliber of people and the kind of um,
The man.
manpower it takes to kind of just create a vibe. And I want to make sure if I don't know you, I know you by the end of the night, and so I'm able to remember you. So it's, I want to go back out there, but I know that my time will come and it'll slowly. But yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So you have anyone from like high school to like 20s? Is that the idea for Moose?
As far as like our like targeted is like what I grew up on. My whole thing was my brothers are 4 to 8 years older than me, so it's if you're good enough, you're old enough. So
Gotcha.
we kind of respect that, but we also want to make sure everybody's safe. So we just kind of let everybody know like just someone here to be with you. Like we're not gonna accept like a 10-year-old like unless parents are there and they're okay with it. Like because obviously we don't allow slide tackling, we don't allow fouling, and we're not afraid to let somebody know to hey relax. Like it's just not type of soccer we're doing. But honestly, what we see that brings a lot is like 10th grade, high school to like college level. Sometimes you get those like Sunday league ballers you just want to get some runs in because it is a good run because it's 4 fields, constant rotation for about an hour and a half, like so 7-minute games, and it's a pretty good like exercise. So it's funny to see how players thinking they can tackle it on, and at the end they're just dead. So it's just good to see people really, really putting in some good work and just we're just in all of the games, like seeing the people connect. And my biggest thing is seeing people meet each other for the first time. For example, like players at a higher level that play college or semi-pro or whatever it may be, like a kid that's never played that level or aspires to be at that level, being able to be like, wow, I just played against him. That's the quality. That's the place I need to be. That's the minimum point that I need to be at. So it's seeing that aspect rather and kind of like a backseat is what really, really like gets me like, damn, like you don't get any more real than this.
I always think it'd be such a good place for a college coach to post up, or like an
Yeah.
NPSL, UPSL place to look at a kid that hasn't necessarily gone the traditional route of club soccer, like the privileged route
Yeah.
that you see in America. So it's in Glen Burnie, right?
Yeah. Glen Burnie Moose Athletic Center off of Veterans Highway. So it's not
Okay,
too far. Um, but yeah, it's just about this next off season. We start back in when we're gonna try to start back up in a couple of weeks every so often, drop up in the nice weather to see if we can get in a good run. But essentially, our dates are usually around April 24th is the day we try to start. But
gotcha.
as far as the off season, we're just looking to build funding. We're literally 3 brothers, just trying to do the best we can, trying to provide for the community that has given us so much. And it's a learning process because there's no blueprint for how to run a pickup soccer business or how to keep going. So it's a bit tough at times, but I feel like it's a blessing in disguise because it kind of gives me the ability to do whatever we feel is right. And so I like to put a little bit of my values in there. Like community building is something very, very important to me because like for example, like you mentioned, the Thanksgiving sessions is something we do about every year. We like to partner with Toys for Tots and just donate a bunch of toys. Instead of charging somebody $10 for a pickup session, we just say donate 1 or 2 toys for the local community. And we were just doing that on just like, hey, let's try it, and we were blown away by the amount of toys we were given the first year and how giving the community was and how eager they were to donate. And I think it was a really, really good wake up call because the bad narrative around Baltimore and how people see it sometimes, and they don't really look at the small communities and the impacts people can have in their respective communities. So it's really, really cool to be able to attach or be that first avenue for someone. Some people were telling me like, this is my first time giving back. This is the first time I've really tried something like this, and it felt good. Like in that, and those small things of like growth, or not just as a player but as a person, really put it in perspective and help myself feel more passion. It just fuels the energy to keep going, and it's really dope.
Yeah, I mean, I think that soccer is in such a cool spot in the country. We've
Mm.
got Club World Cup coming up this summer. We've
Yeah,
got
I'm going.
Men's World Cup 2026. We got Women's World Cup 2027. So for you to be working in soccer at 22, I think you're going to see a lot of doors open up, and I commend you for sticking with it too. And speaking of an open door, you mentioned it a little bit with Street FC, but that company's from the outside looking in looks really cool. Like it seems like Kyle Martino, former U.S.
Yeah,
men's national team, it's kind of that's his brainchild to create this app.
yeah,
It's a futsal app, and you guys play almost every single day, twice on Saturdays, a lot
yeah.
in Baltimore in Patterson Park. So talk about how you became involved in Street FC, and then some of the things that you've done with the company and where you see it going.
Yeah. So essentially the way it started was shout out to my brother Beto. He put us on to Gopher. So Kyle Martino's other brainchild, which is like the making the soccer more accessible in these like lower income like cities. So just being able to pull out the goal from the gate, like from the
I
ground up, and
just
being
saw an
able
Instagram
to,
video on that again. Yeah,
yeah,
like something like from the ground, and
yeah,
you're on
it's a
any
real dope
basketball
concept.
court. Yeah.
And so we were just looking at that, and it was just like same thing. We just kind of eventually just started seeing him pop up more and more, and the stories and the content that he was making really resonated with us, just because we are originally from New York. So growing up in New York, my brothers and I really saw the whole Sunday league style, and it wasn't really organized pickup. I mean, organized like teams, but it was more so just like Sunday league and playing locally, and just has that own community there. So we did have a sense of community of soccer growing up. So coming into Baltimore, whenever I was dealing with like club teams and everything, that was just really expensive, and it just I couldn't really grasp that at that age, and then I didn't want to be the one to put my parents in a little debt for some games. So with pickup, we just started. My brother was just sending Cal Martino's thing all the time, and then one day I saw the send us a little like if you want Street FC to come to your city, send us a little email, and
Huh.
yeah, Instagram has gotten me to meet you, got me to meet Street FC, so it's a great tool. I just sent an email and just let them know like, hey, we've been running pickup soccer for about a year and a half now. We got a really, really solid community. I think it would be really dope to bring that type of soccer because we grew up on street soccer, so futsal, like that aspect was so cool to me. Street FC, the way it just rings and the way it flows was a really, really dope concept, and we just felt like we could offer something, put our own little swag on it, and that's kind of the thing that we try to do is we like to look at something and just always put our little touch on it, the little fine details and the way just bring it back to our slogan, which is good ball, better vibes, and that's the thing that we just live by. It's the soccer's good, the footy's good, that the competition is there, but it's just the vibe. I want you to feel like you're a part of the community, you're a part of the team. If things go bad, you can reach out and just break those barriers as well as just because so many things have been happening with different changes as far as like we can even break down men's mental health or athletes' mental health or just being able to have that sense of community for people that you never know what people are going through and it's just I think soccer is a great way to break those barriers, and it's just been a lovely ride.
Yeah, it seems like you guys have a lot of regulars. Like, do you get the same people over and over for the Street FC game, and
Yeah,
then
we
the new
actually
people?
speaking. I met so many cool people. Like I have these like shout out to my guy Matias from the street. Man's has about like 215 games. He has a streak about like 72 weeks in a row of constantly playing. So
Yes.
it's really really dope to see. It really puts it in perspective how universal footy is. Because it literally is people download an app and they look up street soccer, pick up soccer, download the app, show up, and it's just moved here, just moved into the country, just moved into the state last night, and it's been really dope to just meet people and build those experiences and just see people travel all over the world. And then with Street FC being in different cities, being able to play in different cities, meet different people, it's just a dope way to network and it's just pick up footy. So you can't beat it. It's very authentic.
I've shouted it out a few times because every once in a while on the soccer Facebook groups and on Reddit, people are like looking for a place to play in
Yeah.
Baltimore. I'm like, yeah, look at these guys up. Futsal is so much fun too. It's like a quicker
Hell
game.
yeah.
I never really played it growing up, but after I played with you guys, we started doing this futsal run in Rockville on Thursday nights,
Mm.
and I fell in love with it. It's a little different than the Street FC because they have that like 6 yard box that you have to score inside that. I don't know if
Ah,
it's
okay.
version at all, but anyway, I'm digressing. But yeah, with Street FC too, it looked like I saw this summer the Philly guys challenge the New York guys. Like the different communities
Oh
were
yeah, yeah.
together at some point. Is that did you get involved in that at all?
Yeah, so what it was is with the whole FIFA breaking apart with EA doing their own thing, they didn't want to pay for the title of FIFA anymore. They kind of just started rebranding and Philly was donated a court on part of EAFC. And so to bring the hype around the court and to launch it more of like a big community thing, Street FC invited Baltimore and New York down to just a good run of pickup footy, some good times, some giveaways, some competitions, and overall just bringing the community together, which was a really really dope experience for me because, like I said, growing up in like soccer and the love and passion for footy, I just FIFA was my brainchild. Was the reason I fell in love with so many flags. The reason I can tell you where a guy's from and what team he plays for, what academy he's been like, and to be a part of something like that, wearing the EAFC just like shirts, being at the court, like just being there and meeting people that work in my passion was a really really dope experience and being able to like talk to people that are in my role, like other city managers or other things. And Honestly, I really just enjoyed it because we were able to bring around 30, 40 people from Baltimore. Like, oh, I think Baltimore was by far the biggest attendance, even with Philly, or like competing with Philly in their own place. Just because it really, that really blew me away because it just showed how much people value that experience and how many people like by themselves just carpooled or drove up. And that really showed me that like you didn't really need to do that, but you're interested in it. You have a lot of fun. You have this community that you want to be a part of, and then that really just solidified my passion for that community. I'm ready to like for Baltimore, my Street FC Baltimore community. I'll do anything I can. I've called 17 gyms in 2 days. Like I'll blow off the court with the leaf blower. I'll draw the lines. I'll get there an hour early to make sure no one's on the court. Like I try to keep everything tidy, trying to make everything as neat as I can. Make sure the jerseys smell good, the balls are pumped up, make sure the music's popping, everybody feels
Yeah, I
included.
always love the music. You
Like
guys always got the good music going.
yeah,
And the
and then
barbers, you had the barber set up too.
yeah, Mike. Shout out my guys, Los and O. They were a big part of what we have going. With Street, we were able to shoot a good piece on them about just bringing together footy and haircuts. They're the guys that kind of keep us looking fresh on the court while also balling with us on the court. So it's a really dope way to that we found to connect it. Just because we look good, feel good, play good, that whole vibe. So it's a fun way to just be able to give him some recognition and also kind of put us in the perspective of like just what we're doing different. We get haircuts at the court, we play footy, we have a good time. It's like I said, it's just being able to branch off into different avenues is what's really really cool for us.
I mean, you and your brothers Alberto and Alex, shout out them too,
Yes,
who I
sir.
got to hang out with for the week during 2022 World Cup. But your love of the game is infectious. It's a lot of fun to be around. I'm sure the community of Baltimore is they're fortunate to have you around. Bringing that community out and giving it a platform.
Yeah, and it's all gas, no brakes. So I'm fully motivated. Like you said, I'm young, so I got a lot of time to kill and a lot of energy to keep putting into this. And I'm just motivated.
What Baltimore really needs is a pro team.
Yes,
They
yes.
need.
But shout out to all of these clubs that are doing their thing. I've been peeping it. Shout out my guys with Baltimore City, with Annapolis Blues, the MD Bobcats.
Virginia
What else?
Dream.
Yeah, Virginia Dream. Even was that Lucas Mendez? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that
Bro,
project
I even
incredible.
used to watch. I've watched the Gatorade Player National of the Year stuff. Like I've been so obsessed with this soccer community. I've read articles and done studies on just different things and just trying to get to understand that what places we can attack or what places we can do. And it's just really dope to see. Like I got Maryland Super League teams or anything like that. Like Ristosi playing in the MPSL. Like just that's really, really motivating to me and really cool to see because I know a lot of our guys are coming from this way and that way and this team and this team. And it's just a really, really dope experience to just sit back and just watch and just I just knew it was going to happen. We just knew betting on it that Baltimore was going to make noise. The reason they still didn't give us a World Cup game, but they're going to regret it. That's going to be the biggest regret for them to see how big and how hard Baltimore will ride for soccer and how big we can do it.
I went to a Gold Cup game, USM&T against Cuba, and it was packed out at M&T.
Yeah, even for that Barcelona AC Milan game, that was like I had a great time when I went out there. I was fortunate enough to go with like DirecTV and the Soccer Champions Tour stuff. I do that whole content, and that was like, it was just so cool for me to see just people like just waving their flags and their scars and wearing their old retro jerseys and just being in their family. Dads taking their kids to their first Barcelona game. Like you don't get those experiences back, and it's like people don't understand how big those things are. And like for example, 2 years ago I met Arsenal. Shout out the
We'll talk
boys.
about that a little bit. We'll talk.
So it's just I am extremely grateful for all the opportunities and the experiences I've been able to have, and it's just such an overwhelming feeling of just joy every time I've been able to relive it and just talk about it. And
You guys, you ever think about starting like Maryland Major League Soccer Club, the brothers?
Yeah, it's we're not like completely against the point, but our whole thing is we want to keep it as how do I explain? I want to keep it more as authentic as possible for us because we don't want to like we just want to be pickup. We want to be the place away from that. We want to be that where you can turn off your brain and express yourself. That could just because the one thing I've noticed personally is like the higher you get up in the soccer or the higher level, the more of a role you have to fit to be in that system. For example, you can be an amazing player, skillful and everything, but if you don't know how to tuck in on the press, if you don't know how to press correctly, if you don't know how to track back, there's so many things that could just immediately get you pulled.
Sure.
And I've seen firsthand players that sometimes struggle with that adversity. So being able to have somewhere where people can come and just kind of turn their brain off and kind of, bro, dribble at them, dribble against four people, have that, try that. It's
Yeah.
pickup. Like and that's the one thing I always want to mention. People get too serious. If people get upset, if people it's pickup. That's it. Try it, mess up, learn from it. Like, and then you'll like I've had people oh you should try to step when you shoot left. Try this move a little bit. And then the next week he'll send me a highlight of him scoring like that.
Yeah,
And then
that's sick.
and to those things, it's like, damn, like that really puts it in perspective that it's like the ability to just it's okay to mess up. It's okay to learn. We're here to grind. Iron sharpens iron. Like if he locks you up, then learn from him. Like see what he's doing. See what you can do better. Improve on it. Don't be afraid to try things because you never know what the outcome can be. And that's where you get so many players that express themselves. Lamine Yamal, he's expressive. He's enjoying. You can see that he enjoys the game, and a lot of people don't look into that. That like it's good to be a role player, but it's also like even when if I would coach, I would want a player like it's just very different. I would want to take a different approach to it. I'd play a system, but I also would help a player express themselves and kind of play the player. I want them to be the player I scouted rather than the player I want them to be sometimes.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Because they give you different dynamics. And when you have me personally, when I have that certain connection with a coach, it makes you run through a wall for them. It makes you work 2 times as hard on the ball. Like it's just so many things that play into a record that people don't really pay attention to. So it's we're not opposed to it, but that pickup feel of being able to be that like no one can touch it. No one can like you want a ball? Come on, stop talking. Like I don't know where you play. I don't care where you play, who you've been. Bring your squad. Let the ball do the talking. Like there's no cheeky linesman to give you that offsides call. There's no play. If they argue, we grab the ball, punt it up in the air, and play. Let's go. Next goal wins. Like is face the adversity, face the competition, really grind it out, and then you could just see how people just enjoy it. People like love it. Like they go crazy for it. It's a really, really fun thing to be a part of, and to just see people having fun, it makes it all worth it.
Yeah, I mean that was we mentioned the pop up a couple times, but you had a couple ballers come through, and we were just running 5v5 for hours, and then at halftime of every World Cup game, we'd go play pickup for a little bit, and then games started back up. We were back on the couches watching. So the only reason I said you should start, have you been interested in starting a club? Because I think you would probably be really good at it because of your body's so good. But I know you got a million different things going on, and that's not the direction.
Hey, in the future, you never know. I still have a passion for coaching. So I don't coach anymore, but I'm just like right now, I've just been taking time to just focus on AM pickups. But I definitely will always have that love to teach people and to kind of help people guide through certain things. So it's been a really, really dope experience. And I'm just excited to see where it takes me. And I know when the time is right, I'll be able to because like you said, I'm very obsessed with it. So if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it 120%. I'm going to be able to dedicate my time fully. Like I'm as a type of coach that I aspire to be. If I do choose to do that, I want it to be my sessions plan for the next couple weeks. I want to be breakdown. I want to do different things, not just it's a whole tangent I could go about the different things I would do as a coach. So it's definitely not completely pushed away, but it's definitely for the time being something we'll do in the future.
Yeah, you were coaching crab kickers for a while, right? So that was like age 3 to age how old did they go?
That's like 12. I did that for about 2 years and then decided to step away just because I wanted to focus fully on more of soccer. So it was a really dope experience to see a lot of kids, and that kind of really put in perspective, and it kind of also helped me a lot as a player and also as being able to with pickup, just because it's a little cliche but being able to work with kids kind of helps you work with anybody because it kind of
you
gotta be very patient, and you got to understand that I looked in the bigger picture as I wasn't just teaching a kid. It's like you're that kid's recess, you're that kid's time away from certain things, and you have to make them comfortable. You have to make them okay with like it was just dope to see kids like, I don't know how to do this, and then the next practice they did. So I like, or my favorite player is Ronaldo. I know how to do the Ronaldo move, and it's like, oh, like that's cool. Like, and then now those small victories eventually lead to like a kid's confidence being a lot more up. And there's different things that like, and it was just a really dope experience to be a part of, just because I have a little sister and a niece and a nephew that I want to be able to connect to them, but also help them grow. So it was a really really good avenue because I'm only 22, so no kids yet. So yeah, so it was a really really good experience for me, and it helped me a lot as a person. It helped me really feel like I was giving back, and it was a really rewarding job in the end. And yeah, I'm just forever grateful for the experience. And it was just so cool to see all the kids. I still have all my notes, all my stickers, all the things the kids made me. So it's a really really happy time of my life. But it's just some things are meant to be chapters, and you just got to learn from them and just keep it going.
Sure, you never know when you're gonna take that book off the shelf and open
Yeah,
up that chapter again too. So
absolutely.
yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I feel like kids gotta learn to love the game first, and
Yeah,
then
absolutely.
there they can ball out. Like
Yeah,
everyone,
kids.
that's where it starts. You have
Yeah,
to love the game first if you're gonna
and
get good at it.
it's not also like the also approach that I like to take is you're not you're not teaching a kid how to play soccer. You're teaching a kid skills, how to learn. How if they didn't get it the first time, they got it the second, they got it the third, and the fourth they're good at it. So it's just different things, and then you use that interest of wanting to learn more, wanting to do more, and then you see that spark light up in the kid's face, and it's like, what? Like now I can shoot with my left foot, I can dribble through cones, I can kick the ball and keep running without tripping. Like it's certain things where it's that, or like I can do 3 juggles now. I've never been able to juggle, and it's like those certain things, and it's like you take those little victories because you know I was fueled by growing up. I never really had a coach that I could be like, damn, this guy really really helped me. This guy really really put it in perspective, and it was just like I didn't like that. And then I've noticed being around, I've seen a lot of coaches run, like just telling them to run, no passion. And then
Oh
it was
man,
like,
I could talk for hours about how shitty all my soccer coaches were going.
yeah. So
Just
it's
so
like,
bad
it
for,
just
like,
wasn't,
football. The
it
other
just
football.
wasn't, yeah, literally, it just wasn't like nothing. Like I was just watching and like coaching. And I remember seeing a session and I was just like, oh my God, what are you doing? Like, there's just like, it's not hard. Like it's like you're not the biggest part of it. You're a tool of it. Like you're the main focus should be the kids having the experience, and then some parents value the kid just being able to run around. And then they would also put it in perspective. I was teaching with kids with autism and different learning disabilities, so it was a really really eye-opening experience. But I think I valued it a lot because it taught me a lot about myself, teaching me different types of patients and different ways to have a kid open up or help somebody. And then I was able to use that for the way I talk to people at pickup. Like it's like a kid doesn't know you. If a little kid doesn't know you, he's nervous. He doesn't want to talk to you. In a sense, an adult's like that as well. And you have to find a way to make them feel comfortable when they just moved to a new city, just never played pickup here, don't have no friends. And because I never thought about how intimidating it may be to show up to a pickup session and see 100 people you don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, oh damn, like oh shit, like I wouldn't know how to react. I'm thinking we're playing 11s, and I see 100 people that I had no idea about. You see different academies and players' shirts, and you're like, this kid's Division 1, DC United on the short, like
Yeah.
El Salvador national team short. You're just like, who are these kids? Like, there's different things that like, so it's all a learning process. But I'm really really fortunate to be in.
I mean, making people feel welcome is not just a skill in soccer industry. It's like a fantastic skill anywhere
Yeah,
you go, and you have it down so well at 22.
thank you, thank you.
I'd say, the only thing that I don't really like about you is that you like Arsenal. So, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know if I wanted to have an Arsenal fan on this podcast, but for you, I'll make an exception.
Hey, shout out the boys in red. Shout out the boys.
Yeah, how you feeling about the? Let's talk about Arsenal a little bit.
Where do I start?
Well, let's start right now. You're behind Liverpool 6 by 6 points.
Yeah.
They have a game in hand. Do you have any
Yeah.
chance at the title this year? A lot of
Um,
games, 17.
yeah, there's always a lot of games, but what worries me is the versatility and the types of players we have. I think also like what I may sound like Pep a little bit when I talk about they do have a lot of games. It's even as like a spectator, it's even a lot to keep track of me to watch them. Like my app would just pop up Arsenal plays in 2 hours, and I'm like, why? They just played like 2 days ago.
Yeah,
So
FA Cup, Carabao Cup,
yeah,
Champions League,
it's
Premier
just
League. Yeah.
And it's really tough, but like my love for Arsenal like just is it was just such a fun time for me to watch. I remember seeing that badge because I would always get the FIFA demos, and because just before you get the game, you got to get the demo. And Arsenal's badge to me was just always so cool.
So that's how
And
you picked the squad originally?
yeah, like I would just be like Arsenal, like it's the best team. And then I just started falling in love with the whole like my brother was a big Barcelona fan. Shout out to Alex. He put me onto the '09 Barcelona squad that like the old school Barca, the Thierry Henry, Ronaldinho, Eto'o, Messi, like all those players, and then seeing Henry at Arsenal too. It just was so many different things that I fell down a rabbit hole, and then I just started reading about Arsenal and just falling in love with the club, and then seeing players like I remember vividly like the player that I like was Ozil. When I started seeing Ozil in the Arsenal kit, I was just like, wow, like he's
He
so
was
good.
a baller when I started really watching the game like 2018 or
Yeah,
so. And I was picking between like a couple different teams. I remember watching Ozil and falling in love with his game. Like that classic number 10 that you don't
yeah.
really see that these days, but just a fantastic player with the
Yeah,
ball.
and it was just a really dope. Like it's just I just had a lot of fun. Like it just everything would just align Arsenal, and then I really started to watch. And then right when I was like fully obsessed with it, we hit that rough patch of having the most horrendous stretch of different types of managers. You had the Unai Emery, you had the Lumberg, like you had so many different things that like
Unai's an interesting one now because he's doing so well at Villa.
yeah, and I like it was just everything. I just think sometimes we tend to panic buy. So then you see like every coach has a couple months where they'll sign players which have good quality, but it's just we need prem ready players, not players to be prem ready. Because it's like it's the most demanding league in the world, and you've seen it firsthand. There's players that come to the league and still can't hit the floor running, and it's a very hard league. Like even the tactical breakdowns is like as a striker, you got to learn how to press, you got to learn how to work off the ball. If not, don't matter. Get off the floor, like get off the field. So
Yeah,
it's
we
just
see it all the time. Look at Anthony from United even.
yeah, 100 mil. Now he's at Betis. Like
Yeah,
it's insane. Sancho at United. Now he's at Chelsea, like
I've
doing
named
his
about
thing.
10 different Tottenham players off the top of my head. And Ndombele, Lo
Yeah, and
Celso.
he was a great player, and Dombele was a great player. Like it's just things like that that just don't seem to work out for some reason. But then like we had like Fabio Vieira get signed. We had what's it called? We had just a lot of panic buys. I feel like so it was
Pepe.
Marquinhos. We
Yeah.
had for a season, and
Sold
then
Xhaka. He now
yeah,
Leverkusen.
I that was the one that bothered me a little bit just because I look at it as like the same type of style like Draymond Green and like the Warriors team that kind
Yeah.
of like, he'll hit you and like he'll fight through the wall and he'll give you all the hardest 90 minutes in a football match like ever like and that kind of his villain arc of being cheered off and throwing the band and then being able to be that leader. I think sometimes we do miss that injection, but I do rate the signings of like Mikel Marino. That's one of my favorite signings. Declan Rice was a player I've really enjoyed watching in the last couple of years, and to sign a player like his caliber. Then you got my boy Saka. Like I really like I appreciate what the team is doing, but I also think sometimes we just need to say like we just need it. We just need a striker. Like as of right now, we just need a striker. That's it. We don't need any if band buts. Nothing. We don't need. We should work this player and try to mold him. No, we need a player that you can come in and hit the ground running and give you 10 to 15 goals by the end of the season. Like it.
Havertz started out kind of hot this year, but now he just cooled off, right?
I think it's just also like there's so many too many players that play the same type of game rather than like Havertz is great coming in the ball and just like receiving and he makes the people around him better, I believe. And like Gabby Jesus, we just lost him on an ACL tear right when he was getting
Yeah.
hot, and he's a great dynamic player, but he also just drops deep too much. We don't have a Kun Aguero, we don't have a Holland that just can just create the magic, and we
Yeah.
haven't. And then also, like you see, Saka's hurt for a couple months having surgery. We can't keep relying on the same player to create. Odegaard, we almost lost him for a while, and that
You
put
have
us in a little
Partey
bit.
playing right back right now too, don't you?
Yeah, and he had like he's a great player, but like he's not a right back, and you saw it in both of those goals versus Villa. So it's 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 a ride. It definitely is a ride, but I'm definitely motivated, and I still love that club, and I'm hoping to go see the game. Hopefully, going to see a game. Hopefully in that beautiful stadium. So
I just had a friend go to the Derby. Was it last week Wednesday?
okay.
Yeah, he's an Arsenal fan too, so
Oh,
he
that's sick.
was from the game. It looked amazing. It's definitely yeah. I have not been over there to see a game. That's high on my
I
list.
The closest I got was when they came a couple of years ago. They came to the M&T Bank versus Everton, which was I was so excited because it was just like such a dope way to like spread soccer in America, and it was a cool way to be like, no way, my squad is coming to here.
Yeah,
So luckily, I have a good friend of mine that played footy with my man's Vic. Shout out to him. We literally were in our college years just having a bunch of fun and like just we saw that Arsenal was going to do a meet and greet with Sammy Lakanga, Ben White, and Aaron Ramsdale at it was Angelo's at that time, or Soccer Post in Towson. And then so us being us, we were like, yo, forget it. Let's go do it. Let's go. Let's just show up, bought the jersey. And then we were just like, I don't know, something about us was like, when are they going to come back? When am I ever going to get the opportunity to see my favorite team in person? So we got in the car and we were like, oh, looks like they're leaving. Wonder where they're going. Let's go follow them. And then we got on the car and completely just followed the bus. And we were just like, I don't got nothing to do for 2 days. It's the games in 2 3 days. Let's just have this memory and let's just we're young. We don't got nothing to do. Let's just go see what we can get a couple autographs, get a couple fist bumps, take a selfie or something. And so we caught them at the Sagamore Pendry out in was it Fed or Fells Point? Um, it was really dope. We were just hanging out there, just waiting for them to come to practice. And we were lucky to meet like security guards and their physio. And like, it was just cool to just be like, wow, you work for Arsenal. Like, we're big fans, this and that. And I just kind of also wanted to spread the AM pickups. So I wore the AM pickup shirt, took it to the meet and greet. They took a picture with it. And then I just wanted to just, I don't know, like, I just was like, let's see if they'll pose a picture with it or what they'll do. And they did. And so, like, I would just catch them after training. And then, I got really cool with the security guard. Shout out to my man Frimpin, the guy that does the social media content for Arsenal. So like the guy that does all their like bits and YouTube and everything like that. The guy that does the sideline reactions. He was out there, and I'm so obsessed with the team. I'm like, Frimpin, like, what's up? Like, no one knew him, so we were just saying what's up to him. And then he just kind of was like, hey, like, we're not from here. Like, what do you recommend? And I was like, I'll take you. Like, I just walked him around.
that's sick.
And just kind of chopped it up with him and told him that we kind of run pickups and this is what we do. And it was just like really, really cool. It was just like a genuine interaction. It was just a dope experience to have. And then we exchanged socials, talk like that. And then later that night, me and my friend were just like, let's just keep waiting, keep waiting. Someone's going to come out to walk around because they were like, they might come around and walk around the city. And I'm
Sure.
like,
I was
if
just thinking that
Odegaard,
like people don't recognize them in America as well. Like they might get a couple random people that know who
yeah,
they are, but if they go out in England, they're going to be swamped anywhere they go. I
yeah,
feel like they can walk around Fells Point and
and
they might
be,
be able to do it like low
yeah.
key.
And so like me and my friend were just like, let's just bet on ourselves. We've already came this far. Let's might as well just stay until whenever. And then so we were just hanging out there, and then we just saw the Arsenal people having dinner next to us, right in front of the hotel. We just got a bite to eat, and then we were just like just sitting there eating. And then the guy saw us with the Arsenal kit, and he was like, "You guys are big fans?" Like he just started talking to me, and then I was like, oh, "I'm not a big fan. I love you guys. We've been out here for a full day. We haven't like this is our first meal." Like we're just getting together to get some food, and he just kind of acts like, "Oh, like how's the soccer culture here? How would you explain it?" And that was when like pickup was fully just like starting to take off, and we just kind of told him what I do and what we're trying to do, and he just shout out to Mark Canella, there's the head of communications, their right hand man, the Mikel Arteta. Like he was just there, and he just kind of was just talking to us, and he was like, "Hey, are you guys going to the game tomorrow?" And I was like, "No, like unfortunately, I'm a broke college student. As much as I want to, I can't." And then he was just like, "Oh, like here's my contact. You can send me a message, and we'll see what we can do." And so like nothing happens within the day, and then we're just like the game was about to go on, and then we were able to meet like as they were coming out. The security guard that saw us the next day was like, "Oh, you're here?" I was like, "Yeah, man," because I was like, "I got no trouble. You pushing me back? There, people are being extra." I was like, I'll wait my turn. I ain't no rush." And he kind of liked it, and he was like, "Come here," like told me he was like, "They come out in 5 minutes." Like he was like, "They come out in 5 minutes," and I was like, all I need to know. And then they came out, and it was really, really dope. Speaking about Shaka, I had a really dope experience with him that I was at the window and I was showing him an AM pickup shirt, and I was like, "Yo, check us out, check us out." And he says, "We're going to train." He literally was like, "When we come back, We come back at 4:30 because they had like a training. So then like as soon as he came out of the bus, I was like, Shaka, he came. I have a video of him coming directly towards me and being like, I remember. And he signed my shirt. Marquinhos signed my shirt. I got a selfie with Martinelli. Saka came out, Gabby Jesus. And it was really dope because like they were like, like it sounds cheesy, but like them putting the time out to come shake people's hand and say what's up. And
It's a big deal to us. Yeah.
And like to me, it was really, really cool to see that just like, and then right when we were sitting down, I get the text and email, hey Abraham, I really, really enjoyed your story, yada yada. Like Martinelli goes on and he goes, by the way, attached are 2 tickets for you and your friend. And I was like, no way. Like, and like the business card has his like the Arsenal badge and his position and everything. So to me, it was just such a like that to me solidified my loyalty for the club. Because like that didn't need to happen, and to be like for that to be able to align and then be able to do something like that, that's where I was like, yeah, you guys got me forever. Like,
yeah, that is such a cool experience. I can't fault you for being an Arsenal fan anymore because yeah, if they rolled out the red carpet for you, but yeah, what more can you ask for?
Hey, I'm
like a Southampton fan on the podcast a long time ago.
Yeah,
he went over to see a game at Southampton. He said the club just like bent over backwards for him, gave him a tour of the field. I was like, dang, maybe I should be a Southampton fan.
Yeah, today, but it's dope. With like to me, I'll never wear another jersey. Like you won't catch me in like another jersey. I had
a jersey. Would you wear one of those?
A what?
An old Barca jersey?
Yeah. No Prem team though. I remember my dad bought me a Chelsea jersey that I wore for a little bit, and I've only worn it because it was like my first ever jersey. So like, and I was like, he didn't think I liked Chelsea when I was younger, but I'm like, I'll wear it. It's a cool jersey. I never had it. I think it was an Eden Hazard 10. So it was
Hazard is fucking.
So crazy. Like, I look back, I'm like, damn, you wore a Chelsea jersey, but then I'm like, it's okay. It's a valid wear. It's a Eden Hazard. Yeah. But now that I'm old enough to buy my clothes and everything, I'm only wearing Arsenal. But I do appreciate the different things in like footy. For example, like I got a lot of love for West Ham and Fulham for like Raul Jimenez and Edson Alvarez being a Mexican, like being able to see my like players from my national team in the Prem, which is like insane. So
awesome. Yeah.
And then just like
bad for Alvarez right now.
Yeah. And it's cool. It's cool to see though. I like to see. It's like you didn't think to see that. Like
he's a regular starter though, right? He starts every game for them.
Yeah, and it's and then Raul Jimenez is the highest goal scorer, beating Chicharito. Now it's like
I love the resurgence of Raul.
Yes. Unfortunately, it happened against Arsenal.
Yeah.
But but it's really, really dope to watch that like kind of grow into what it is and trying to see who's the next and being able to be like, damn, 2 Mexicans have scored over 100 goals in the Prem. Like that's a cool thing to be able to like, so it's really
awesome.
dope to. And then I'm just obsessed with like just fashion and soccer now. I think now that's such a cool way to like for example, shout out Mahern's. They got like a little Mexico piece, like a little footy gear. I get all my stuff. So it's been cool to like look into that aspect and see how different teams go into like different like how they do different content strategies or way to attack different things. Like Arsenal does the all white kits to prevent like in like the stabbings in England. Like to do that, they have like a red dot on it, like in support of like kids that have died through like stabbings. So that's why they wore that all white kit in that FA Cup like loss. So it's like things like that I appreciate. Or like I don't know if you've seen Aston Villa's 100-year anniversary kit.
Yeah,
that one is sick.
That was sick. They wore that one against you guys last week, didn't they?
Yeah, that was fire. I really enjoyed that, but I'm not wearing it. Can't do it.
Yeah, that's one complaint about Tottenham is the colors. Like I feel like I kind of grew up like a Bulls fan, so I always liked red, black, and white. But now I can't wear them. Got to be white and blue. Is the jersey behind you the one that you have signed by a bunch of players? Because I remember you brought that.
This is a great piece I have. This is the Aubameyang.
Yeah.
This is the Aubameyang Puma one. This is shout out to everybody at Unwanted. They do like upcycling, so like you can send them an old kit or something and have them make it into like I chose a duffel bag, a little tote bag.
That's sweet.
So it's it was a really, really cool like idea I did with on behalf of Street FC. This guy's based in Kevin and Keith. They were based in I think it's Australia, and they both worked with Adidas and saw how many things just go thrown away and how many goods can just be resalvaged to do some cool things. And they got into the idea of upcycling, and they did some things with New York City, the Street FC. And then I was like, that'd be cool for a bunch of our guys to just do some things. And I sent an email to them, set up a call, and we were able to do like a Street FC, Baltimore Unwanted, and like a bunch of our guys just got upcycled goods, and now they're like, yo, I can wear my old Kaka jersey now as a tote bag, or like,
Yeah, I want a tote bag. That's awesome. Bring all your.
We'll definitely we'll put an order in. I got some stuff I want to put together. So
all right, let me know. Yeah, I got an old Stevie Bergvine jersey I could turn.
Oh, word! Oh, the Dutchman. What does he do?
Yes, yeah. He's wasting away in Saudi Arabia. Unfortunately, he's still a lot of years, man. He never really got a fair shake at Tottenham. But I loved him every time he came on.
Yeah, but I've been peeping the signings you guys make. I like it. Dominic Solanke, I rated him for like about 2 years.
Solanke's great.
I think he just needs to. And then Kulishevsky from that's a great player. Yeah. And I think it's just I think what you guys. What do you think you can do better? I think it's like the midfield. Is that?
I think right now our back line, just with Romero and Mickey Van de Ven being out since.
Yeah, that's a great signing. Mickey Van de Ven was.
Love Van de Ven. Romero, I'm ready to sell to Real Madrid for 100 mil, but between people forget they were one of the better defenses in the league the first couple weeks of the season.
Yeah, I think they complemented very well with each other. Romero being the very like aggressive first press, and then Van de Ven being the more elegant left-footed center back with speed. So it's like it covered the field well. Yeah, I just think like. Romero gives me too much like Pepe and Sergio Ramos vibes rather than like he'll make that tackle in the 21st minute when we really don't need it. Like
he's always picking up the early yellow. Yeah, when you don't need it exactly. Yeah. So, and then just doing dumb things like following through very aggressively to pick up a red. It's like calm down.
Or Vicario was your big loss too. I rated him as a keeper. I was like, damn, he's been making some really good saves.
Yeah, but I think all of a sudden our center defensive mid pairing like Sarr, Basuma, I don't think it's working. I think we need some help in there. Benton Kerr, he's a great player. Can't really stay on the field, so looking real thin. I do like that we get to blood some of the young guys all of a sudden.
Yeah, Archie Gray and stuff like that.
Yeah. I'm hoping we weather the storm a bit. Technically, we're only 8 points out of relegation, but I think as soon as we get some players back,
I just really hope you guys just. I think Ange Postecoglou has the right mentality. It's just that there's a lot of games, and it's like you can only change so much off of like when you have a certain dimension of players, and that's why I'm giving Arteta the benefit of the doubt. But I'm also kind of like, we need a title, we need something. Like I want to see that. Like I think what could save him as well would be this Champions League run, depending on what we do. I think that'll be a good way to just see how that goes. But also, I just need a striker. That's all I ask. I just need a striker. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, I thought, you guys kind of blew that game against Villa. You would have, that would have put you 4 outside the title. So it's Liverpool all of a sudden, too, looks like maybe not the same Liverpool. I mean, I guess they came back against, who did they play on the weekend? Brentford. They won late. They had 2 DMs.
93rd minute. I was in the car and I opened the app and I was like, oh my God, 87th minute and they're 0-0. I'm like, but then I closed it and I was like, oh shit. No, why did I do that? No, why did I do it? Why did I like put that out there? And then I check in 5 minutes, 2-0.
2-0.
Like, oh my God.
Nunez can't find the back of the net all year, and then all of a sudden he does it that late.
I was so like, there's just no way. But I think what also can be what is making me optimistic is how Liverpool has contract issues. I think they fully like Mo Salah has said he's gone.
Yeah, he said it so early in the season too.
And Van Dijk is 2 things. It's his contract, and if he's injured, that I think their season crumbles.
Yeah,
I think because they've already dealt with Kwanzaa went out early their last game or 2. Konate was already injured for a certain while, and then they have Joe Gomez and Matip. So, like, really isn't too stretch. And then you have the whole Alexander-Arnold thing. Will he go to Real Madrid? Is he going to stay in the Prem? Contract issues. And I think maybe as the season gets longer and the battle just keeps to get longer, I think there maybe 1 or 2 things may happen that can – because all we need them to do is have a bad week. If they have a bad week with
2 games.
If they have a bad
lose
week,
2 games and you're right in it.
and like even if they have a 1-1, a 0-0 like that, and then they lose in the Champions League, get hurt. Like it's so many things I can. That's why I'm like I'm anxious, but then I'm like it's a lot of ball to play. There's a lot of things to go through, and even for us, it's just we can't afford another injury. Saliba's out for God knows how long now, so.
You guys got to watch Nottingham Forest too, who apparently is good out of nowhere.
Yeah, Bobby Wood out of nowhere just put on our
Bobby Wood, that's USMNT. Chris Wood.
Oh, Chris Wood, yeah.
Bobby Wood's great shout.
Yeah.
So
Chris Wood to New Zealand, and then Bobby Wood was the Asian guy.
Yeah, he's Asian. Yeah, he played, like Hanover '96 in Bundesliga.
Yeah.
We went to Real Salt Lake, I think.
I remember him from that Mexico game. He scored on us. That's how I remember that name.
You're more Mexico national team than USMNT.
Yeah, I mean my roots are Mexican because I definitely like watch their games, but I also have a lot of love for the USA system. I also like for example seeing like the players that come to our sessions like Christian Fletcher and Matai, like them being in those academies. It's cool to watch, and I've watched a lot of players grow up in that like U.S. men's national team thing. Like Christian Pulisic was a cool story to watch just because I played in a tournament in his like city and like Hershey, and being able to see like the influence and the kind of like people, the way they look at him, and then it really like in the Gio Reyna story, like it was a really like really cool thing to be a part of and just like watch, and then fell down that rabbit hole with what's it called, Cal Martino, looking into that, and I was like, damn, that's a cool. I think I only thing is I didn't like that coach Greg Berhalter. I felt like you guys held on to him for too long.
Yeah, I mean I like seeing Pochettino for obvious reasons. One of the modern Tottenham coaches. I think he's going to be a good fit for 2026 World Cup.
Yeah.
Fortunately,
I think it's different. I think it's
different.
What's that? It's different. I think it's different, but it's a good type of different. It's experience, it's knowledge. Like he's been there, he's done it. And I think players can only, if the players go in with the right mentality of like wanting to learn and being able to not know everything, I think it'll be a good, like rewarding. It's a great project.
How you guys looking heading into like sliding into 2026? I haven't really paid attention to the Mexico national team all that much.
I think it's a bit rough because what we're dealing with is the same thing that you guys were dealing with a couple of years ago, which is the transition of how putting the new school with the old school, but kind of keeping the identity of a gritty midfield. Kind of that's where we lost. Like for example, like you guys losing Jermaine Jones, Timothy Bradley, those types of players that like are good on the ball and have some like tech, but they also kind of have that grit that like can play a full 90, can put in that crunching tackle, is something that we have to get used to and finding the good combination. Like you said, we had Edson Alvarez, who's one of my favorite players in the Mexican team. But then you also have like different players that do they complement him or are they very the same dynamic? And I think it's just about I would suggest Mexico being a little bit more betting on the youth and trying it, because I think you can definitely see, or like reaching out to like shout out to Anthony Robertson from USA. That's the I think that's arguably you guys' best player.
Yeah.
I think, and for him to make a move that I think he's going to make very soon, I think it's going to be that Liverpool move. I think that looks the most. I think that's like moves like that is what I like to see about the U.S. and the Mexico. Like I think a lot of our players are making that step back and going back to the Mexican league or playing at these lower leagues, which is a bit unfortunate. But seeing players like Anthony Robertson like strive to make those moves. And I was just watching Juventus and AC Milan. I watch a lot of Serie A. I've been watching Timothy Weah, Weston McKennie, like Musa, and then like they're getting that like European soccer grit that like they're able to stand out in a European game.
Serie A seems like a good spot for a lot of these young U.S. players.
Yeah,
this is the thing with Liga MX that they pay their players a lot, so then players want to stay domestic, right?
Absolutely, and I think it just kind of they make that step back, which is kind of like why. But I just hoping things get figured out and we just kind of get that that kind of desire and that I don't know. I'm confident in it, but I just want to see what kind of way. We haven't been able to see a platform of the way they're trying to project it. It's just bad coach after bad coach or this and that. So, but the U.S. one is a fun one to watch too. I'm excited to see what they do, and hopefully they do something. They surprise us. They make that run that Morocco made or something. You never know.
That would be so nice. I mean, at home's the time to do it. I'm guessing Mexico will probably have home games in Mexico City, which is a really tough place to play. Like you never know. With that squad too.
Yeah, the Estadio Azteca or the Monterrey Stadium that looks fire, the one like in the mountains.
Oh yeah, that's that
Yeah,
classic one with the
yeah.
mountain view.
So it's definitely I'm definitely excited and I'm so eager to get to a game. So I'm definitely gonna do my due diligence to try to get as close as I can, the more realistic information. But yeah, that's
I mean, in our adult lives, I think it's once in a lifetime. I gotta go. I
oh
mean,
hell yeah.
I
I'm
do kind of want to do another pop up, maybe something completely different. Got some things rolling around, and I'll definitely give you a call if that happens. But to me,
yeah.
game's number one. I gotta get to a game. It's on.
Yeah. I want to do games and I also want to just like absorb the atmosphere. I want to be able to vlog and do a whole bunch of stuff and just kind of really, really get into it and just like have fun. Like just really like
Yeah,
just like be
culture
in it.
coming
Like
to yeah,
I want to go to the stadiums. We were walking around for hours with nothing to do. I don't care. That's the
yeah.
World Cup. Like it's like it doesn't matter.
See
Like
the Colombians come in, go crazy. See from
I was in
Paraguay.
Miami. I was in Miami for that. That's
That
crazy.
was, that was Copa America, right? There.
Yeah, so I was fortunate enough to go on behalf of Street FC to it was called it was a long name. It was the Copa 90 Area 305 Top Baller Total. I don't know, something like that. Area
Someone's
Street
specialty is
FC.
brevity, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was like a really really dope experience. It was a shout out to my guys from Top Baller. They do the 1v1 battles on like the UK, and they were just like traveling to different cities and started getting traction. And then during the Copa America final, they flew them out to Miami and they did an event. And with the event, they got Adidas to sponsor it, so they were doing 1v1s for females and the guys doing some pickup footy, and then doing like an F50 like boot challenge like competition. The winner would win free boots. They had some classic football shirts being given away. They had the support group of Inter Miami playing the drums and letting off fireworks and everything. Had a DJ, food. So overall, it was really really dope to be a part of. I've been to Miami before one time, but being able to go back and like I was able to see one of my guys from Street. One of my guys, shout out Mushir from Florida. He originally was at Street for about a year. He was doing some hospital work here, and I was able to meet him and had a great like relationship with him. He unfortunately had to go back to Florida, and then when I was in Florida, I hit him up. He was able to come down, and that was just another way for me to be like, damn, like just through footy, I was able to have he brought me to his house. I was able to have a good time, meet his family, and just overall like see the Copa America game, watch the Euro finals. And it was a really really dope experience to be a part of because you would see people with the jerseys, the Messi jerseys, the Colombia. It was flooded, and I loved it. Like being able to see the city completely absorbed by just the footy game, and it was really really dope. People going crazy, shaving their heads, putting their blue hair on. It just sparked
It's
up that excitement that I know 2026 we just have to go.
it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be awesome. It's
Mhm.
such a common language too. Like that's what I love about the game. That's why when you and I met, we were instantly able to like talk for hours and hours about the game, and
Yeah.
it's common language. So love it. Abe, we usually do about an hour. Any final thoughts for our
Um,
Houston the Villain fans here?
Thank you for guys for having me. It was a really really fun experience to chop it up and to just relive the fun moments we've had in the World Cup pop up. And it was really cool to just talk about what we've been going. And if anybody's interested, you guys can find all our socials on Instagram, and pickups. Pretty basic. And then if mine's just A.Navarro. So find us on there. We're always down to run some pickup. Download the Street SC app if you want to play with us. Pretty much anything. We're just excited to keep it going. And if anybody's interested in joining the community, we're always accepting new ballers as long as you come on time. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I
shout
see it
out
in
to
the
you, Mike.
WhatsApp group. Yeah, running late, running late. Yeah,
Yeah. It's dope to see. Shout out to you, Mike Sheen. We were there when you first started to do something, and then now you've fully indulged yourself into it. So it's been cool to see you do your thing and kind of find your place in the whole soccer world. And
yeah. I don't know what my place is to be honest, but
hey, this
talk
is
about
something
it.
I'm wanting to do for a while. So being able to be a part of it is really dope. I've listened to a couple of your episodes, so it's been really really cool to just like, all right, like let's see what it is. I've never really done a podcast or anything like that, so it was really cool to be a part of and just kind of relive some moments and just manifest some good times for the future and to see what we can get cooking and hopefully we can chat
But
over
yeah, you
some
were one of the
games.
inaugural. Well, the one cool thing that came out of the pop up is that with Saints Row, we started showing those Prem games.
Yeah,
Montgomery Spurs, from someone I met on
yeah,
Twitter, started up in that group now. It's like
That's sick. That's sick.
We had 60 people for the Chelsea game.
That's sick.
December. Like
Hell
that, that community is crazy now. It's you know, a lot of credit to. We had someone, Ian. He's the chairman of the official supporters group now. He's done a ton of work growing it this year, but it is wild. Like the pop up at the time, you remember me talking pre pop up. I was like, this thing's gonna be huge. I was definitely a little disappointed, like by some of the numbers. That England US game was great. We had a ton of people there, but overall, I was like a little dejected. But then that kind of birthed Montgomery Spurs a little bit, and then I don't know, the podcast kept going, and I just love the game. So I'm just trying to be in it somehow.
And it's dope, and I think it'd be a fun way to like keep track of like the AM pickups, because you were there from when we were just starting out, and then being able to do this. Maybe we do this again in a year or so and see where we're at. And then hopefully in a couple of years I'll have my own facility, and instead of us doing it through the Zoom call, we're in person, and you're in the AM pickups headquarters, and we got our own fields, and we'll shoot some content, get some soccer players out there rocking some gear. We'll do our own World Cup pop up, and we'll do it.
That's like, what's up. Be a partnership, not just a lease.
Hell yeah. It could be our place. It wouldn't be us worrying about people not opening the doors and not being on time. We're there all the time. We can play whenever we want. We can do whatever we want. Order some food, make some food, have some drinks, whatever it is we need to do, just to have a good time. We'll definitely go all out for it.
All right, man. Yes, it was awesome catching up. We'll catch you soon.
Likewise. Be safe, my guy.
All right. Later, Abe.